Say Christ is Lord. Say Christ is Lord. Say it.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Unpopular Opinion. And today, guys, we have ourselves a movie versus movie battle to see which is the better brainchild of George Lucas. Today, we are comparing Indiana Jones to Star Wars. You might be asking yourself, why are you doing this? Well,
fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory.
So today, guys, we're doing a 10-round winner takes all, but no matter what, regardless of the outcome, Harrison Ford wins no matter what. So this is Indiana Jones versus Star Wars. Oh, by the way, just to make one thing very clear, I'm only focusing on the movies that George Lucas made. So any of the Disney stuff or the spin-offs or the expanded universe, none of that is going to be considered into this video. I'm not factoring in the video games, the comics, the TV shows, or the Disney stuff. It's just the movies made by George Lucas. But before we get into the topic itself, guys, we're going to be playing a little game. Guys, at the end of this video, I will play a quick 5-second clip from a random movie. If you are the first person to successfully guess what that movie is and you comment it below, you comment the title below, I will pin that comment to the top of the comments and I will give you a shout out in the next video. So all you have to do, stick around to the end of the video, watch that 5-second clip, and then comment it below, and then you win. And guys, I'm gonna have to give 2 shout outs in this video because Pedro Pacheco, 8805, you were the winner for the Kingdom of Heaven video. Congratulations, you guessed the Thin Red Line. And Stephen Perrell, 7217, you were the one who guessed the Indiana Jones video. You got the Da Vinci Code, so congratulations to the both of you. You guys were the winners of those respective videos. But guys, we gotta make something very clear. I'm gonna be very strict and unflinchingly rigid in this rule. You have to say the full title of the movie. So let's say hypothetically it's a Lord of the Rings film. You can't just say Lord of the Rings. You have to say Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, or Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, or something like that. That's the rule, but if you're the first person to comment below, you win. Also, guys, in reference to this 10-round winner takes all, I want to make something very clear. I'm like the Electoral College because it's not the number of rounds that wins the overall video for the movie. It is the quality of rounds that wins the movie, the video, and also at the end, I reserve the right to choose which one I like the best based on my own opinion. So these rounds are objective comparisons of facts with my own 2 cents, and I choose the winner at the end. So let's get into this. Round 1. Plot. The plot of Indiana Jones changes each movie. However, the consistent overview of the series is archaeologist Indiana Jones travels the world in quest to find supernatural or mystical relics of some sort of religious or paranormal significance.
X marks the spot.
And along the way, he has to navigate obstacles and compete with villains who are out for the same relics.
Those people are trying to kill him. I know, Dad. Your experience for me.
George Lucas's Star Wars, they are divided into 2 trilogies. And these trilogies, for the most part, focus on a central group of core characters. The original trilogy is about a galactic civil war between rebels and the Galactic Empire. And the prequels are about how the Republic fell into tyranny and became the Empire of the original trilogy. It also features a struggle between 2 classes of space warriors, the Jedi Knights and the Sith Lords.
Chancellor Palpatine, Sith Lords are our specialty.
And each trilogy focuses on space battles, galactic politics, and space conflict.
The plans you refer to will soon be back in our hands.
But overall, I'm gonna have to give this round to Star Wars because the space politics of war and the world building, and then how it features the perfect example of the hero's journey, that's what gives this movie the edge. Like I said, the world building and the mythological lore behind the Jedi and the Force, it is sublime. So winner, Star Wars.
Fools. Bureaucratic
What'd
fools.
they say?
Round 2. Protagonist. Guys, this round's gonna be a little tricky for Star Wars, considering the fact that it has numerous different protagonists. The hero of the original trilogy is Luke Skywalker.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
However, the prequel trilogy, it's a bit more complicated because in episode 1, the protagonist is Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn.
Credits will do fine.
No, they won't.
Credits will do fine.
In episodes 2 and 3, the protagonist role, it switches to either Anakin Skywalker or Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I've heard claims that support the claim to protagonist of the prequels for both Anakin and Obi-Wan. People can make good arguments for both, but in my opinion, I do think that the overall protagonist of the prequels is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hello there.
But anyway, in the original trilogy, Luke Skywalker is a young man who trains to become a Jedi Knight, and he fights in the rebellion to overthrow overthrow the Empire. Luke Skywalker fulfills his destiny by confronting his father, who was a Jedi Knight and former pupil of his own master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he continues the legacy of the Jedi.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
And in the prequels, we see the events that lead to Anakin joining the dark side and becoming Darth Vader. So we see Anakin's origins and his adventures and the guidance that he had under his master of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And our hero for Indiana Jones is, well, Indiana Jones.
You call him Dr. Jones.
My professional name.
Dr. Jones is an adventure-seeking, swashbuckling archaeologist. His main attributes are his charming personality and his superior intellect, and of course, his ability to handle danger. His trademarks include his hat and his legendary whip, which he uses as a tool to either navigate obstacles or as a weapon to disarm people in fights.
Give me the whip! Give me the whip!
Adios, senor.
So guys, I'm gonna have to give this one to Indiana Jones. Not only is it because Indiana Jones is one of the greatest characters of all time. Seriously, he's one of the best movie heroes, but he's just so much fun to watch. Rooting for him is a blast, and I just feel like he's a much more capable and effective protagonist than anything Star Wars has. So, winner, Indiana Jones. No! Round 3. Characters. So, excluding the protagonist, each movie series has a very wide range of characters. So in Star Wars, we have a wide supporting cast with legendary characters such as Han Solo, Chewbacca, Leia, Lando, R2-D2, C-3PO, Mace Windu. Honestly, I could probably go on forever cataloging the characters of Star Wars, because these characters are super important. They aid in our protagonist's struggle and add to the plot when fighting against the Galactic Empire, or in the prequels, fighting against the Separatists. And they all add their own individual charm and their own individual assets to the story.
And we'll have that shield down. We've got to give him more time.
And I would love to do individual in-depth analysis of all the characters, but there's just not enough time and there's no way I can fit all of them. In Indiana Jones, there's also a wide supporting cast. However, in Indiana Jones, for the most part, a lot of the iconic characters are usually one-off characters. And that kind of works against it because some of the more memorable characters are only appearing in one movie and they don't recur in other films. So, for example, we have Short Round, Indy's young sidekick. We have Henry Jones Sr., Indiana Jones's father.
I suddenly remembered my Charlemagne.
We also have Mutt Williams' son. I mean, I could keep going, but I think you get the idea. And as much as I love these characters in Indiana Jones, this series is pretty much all about Indy. So the focus doesn't really shift to them. And these supporting characters, they don't really have as much importance or contributions to plot devices like they would in Star Wars. So winner, Star Wars.
You stupid son of a bitch!
Round 4. Villains. So guys, Star Wars features some of the most iconic villains in cinema history, specifically the original trilogy. And in the prequel trilogy, there's kind of a new villain in every single movie because the villains don't really carry over for the most part, but they are under the power, the influence, they are subordinated to Darth Sidious, who later becomes the Emperor. So you can argue that Sidious is the main villain in the prequel trilogy. In the original trilogy, our main villain is Darth Vader.
The ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force.
Vader was once a Jedi pupil of Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, but he was corrupted by Darth Sidious.
Fletcher Christian corrupted them.
And he fell to the dark side of the Force.
Who was a pupil of mine, helped the Empire hunt down and destroy the Jedi Knights.
He and Darth Sidious rule the galaxy, and he is the father of Luke Skywalker, which actually creates a really interesting dynamic between the hero and the villain. In Indiana Jones, the villains don't carry over, so in every movie there's a new villain every single adventure. In Raiders, we have Belloc, who's Indy's archaeologist rival.
Again, we see there is nothing you can possess which I cannot take away.
And he commands a brigade of Nazis to help him uncover the Ark. In Temple of Doom, we have Mola Ram, who is the leader of the Thuggee cult. And he is without a doubt the most evil villain in the series.
Drop them, Dr. Jones! They will be found! You won't!
He and his cult practice human sacrifices, and he has a labor force made of child slaves. In Last Crusade, the villain is Walter Donovan.
I didn't know you would sell your country and your soul to the slime of humanity.
And he's a
wealthy American industrialist.
But he teams up with the Third Reich so he can uncover the Holy Grail.
Shooting me won't get you anywhere.
You're absolutely right.
And in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, we have Irina Spalko. She's a Soviet colonel who's obsessed with paranormal artifacts, and she's determined to use the power of the Crystal Skull to win the Cold War.
We will turn you into us. You won't even know it's happening.
That sounds so ridiculous saying it out loud. I never said that before, and that actually sounds ridiculous. Now, I love the villains of Indiana Jones, guys, I really do, but it's undeniable that they have not left the mark on cinema like the villains in Star Wars have. Also, the fact that literally none of the villains in the Indiana Jones series carry over, it puts a massive disadvantage on the series.
As you see, my Jedi powers are far beyond yours.
So, winner, Star Wars.
Son of a bitch.
Round 5, music.
Got a better idea. You look at it.
Now, for both franchises, the music was composed by the Emperor of Movie Music, aka John Williams. And both scores are mega iconic. But which one is better? I mean, obviously Star Wars is more popular, and it's super iconic, but Indiana Jones' score hits differently. It captures the spirit of adventure, and it sets the tone for the scenes perfectly. Whether it be creepy, supernatural, mysterious, spiritual, or ancient, or exotic, it's all epic fun that adds so much to the scenery. It's not to say that Star Wars doesn't have that too, but it's just not how Indiana Jones comes off. So in my opinion, Indiana Jones does it better, and also, bonus, Indiana Jones has his own personal theme. And it just makes the action more fun. So, winner, Indiana Jones.
So be it, Jedi.
Round 6, sounds and special effects. So this round's gonna be really tricky because both of these movies feature epic innovations that have some of the most groundbreaking special effects and sound effects for movies in the entire industry of Hollywood. For both movies, the sound quality and the special effects are actually top-notch.
Nothing shocks me. I'm a scientist.
And the special effects in Star Wars changed the industry forever. Same thing with the sound, anywhere from the alien noises, the blasters, the TIE fighters, the lightsaber, all of it.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
I know a lot of people are gonna get mad at this, but this round is a tie.
That's impossible, even for a computer.
Next time, Indiana Jones, it'll take more than children to save you.
Round 7, quotes. So this round is basically just gonna be a compilation of some of my favorite quotes from these franchises, and we're just gonna compare which one is better.
Russians. This is where the fun begins.
You want to talk to God? Let's go see him together. I've got nothing better to do.
Young fool.
The quest for the Grail is not archaeology. It's a race against evil.
Only now, at the end, do you understand?
Obi-Wan once thought as you do.
Indiana, we are simply passing through history.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
This is history.
If you choose to face Vader, you will do it alone. I cannot interfere.
Now, you can see the magic of the rock.
I understand its power now.
I have failed you, Anakin. I have failed you.
Want to be a good archaeologist? You gotta get out of the library!
You were right about one thing, Master. The negotiations were short.
This ain't gonna be easy.
Not as easy as it used to be.
I have you now. What?
Guys, we could do this on and on and on and on and on, but we'll never get to the point. We don't have enough time. So, the winner is Star Wars. Winner, Star Wars.
He chose poorly.
Round 8, direction. Guys, like I said in the beginning, the Disney stuff is not going to be included, so all of the Indiana Jones movies were directed by Steven Spielberg, and the majority of the Star Wars movies were directed by George Lucas. So the direction under 3-time Oscar winner Steven Spielberg has pretty much given him the legacy and the reputation as one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. And I agree with that because if you just look at his cinematography, the editing, the staging, the pacing, all of that crafted the epic, amazing visual mood that made the Indiana Jones movies. And I seriously couldn't imagine any other director directing an Indiana Jones film. All of it was masterclass, and this really wasn't just an action movie. It was a visual viewing experience. Star Wars was also directed very well, and I personally think that George Lucas directed movies were crafted better. But even Ivan Kershner and Richard Marquand did a great job. But I don't think any of that comes close to the skill of Steven Spielberg's work. So, winner, Indiana Jones. Round 9, legacy. Guys, it's undeniable that Indiana Jones is one of the most iconic franchises of all time, and Indiana Jones himself is one of the greatest movie heroes to ever grace the big screen. Not to mention, it absolutely launched Harrison Ford into superstardom. Star Wars made him famous, but Indiana Jones made him a star.
I call it luck.
In my experience, there's no such thing as luck.
However, Star Wars is probably the most iconic movie ever made. The logo title, the special effects, the fact that it's still among some of the highest grossing movies ever. Adjusted for inflation, of course. And it's known throughout the civilized world. On top of that, it spawned a really successful expanded universe that has an awesome merchandise line of Lego, action figures, video games. It also has comic books and TV shows.
Always two there are. No more, no less.
And I think the fact is, it's just more popular and widely known than Indiana Jones. So winner, Star Wars.
Why are you bothering to tell me now?
Round 10. Action.
Will Jones, these stabbings forgotten how to show a lady a good time.
So the action in Star Wars is fantastic, and it features a lot of different awesome thrill sequences. Sometimes there's small-scale shootouts between some people.
Get behind me! Get behind me!
Then there's also epic battles between two massive armies. Then there are epic space battles with giant spaceship and then smaller aircraft that resembles World War II dogfights. And then of course we obviously have the lightsaber duels. Some of which are either reserved fencing matches,
Only a master of evil does.
or others are highly skilled, fast-paced, epic fights between very skilled swordsmen. In Indiana Jones, most of the action, it comes in the form of fistfights between Indy and some bad guys. But at the end of every Indiana Jones movie, there's always a showdown between Indiana Jones and the secondary antagonist. And this is where he faces off against an opponent in an epic circumstance, in an epic set piece, under really, really thrilling sequences. But there's also a lot more thrills than that. Indiana Jones has to navigate ancient ruins that are laced with booby traps, which those sequences are, again, really, really heart-pounding. But no Indiana Jones movie would be complete without some sort of car chase, horse chase, train chase, boat chase, plane chase. I mean, guys, Indiana Jones is full of awesome chase sequences that are really fun, really cool to watch, and really, really exciting.
I'd cover my ears if I were you.
And obviously there's a lot of really great gunplay in the Indiana Jones series because Indy usually uses his revolver. Or his guns to great effects in this movie. The shootouts were really, really fun.
No shooting!
And whenever he uses his whip to disarm people or swing off of a ledge or high precipice, obviously that's really, really cool to watch. But which is better? Guys, this is really close. I mean, this is extremely, extremely close. And the winner of this round won it by the skin of its teeth.
It's them. Blast them. Get back to the ship!
But I'm giving this to Indiana Jones. Guys, the fact is this. I love individual fistfights between a central protagonist and random bad guys. Those are always really fun to watch, and the sequences in Indiana Jones, they're much more exciting. And that's somewhat true to say for Star Wars as well, because there are some fistfights in Star Wars. But there are a lot of times in the Star Wars series where you have faceless extras or characters who aren't really core to the story just fighting off against each other. So it's extras versus extras in those battles, which are fun, but I think a lot of the times it's more fun to attach yourself to a central core protagonist that you can root for him consistently throughout the action. That's why I think Indiana Jones does it better. Now I know there are going to be a lot of people who hate me or who think I'm crazy, but that's where I stand. So, winner, Indiana Jones.
It can't be. It can't be.
Well, guys, we've reached the end. We've weighed all the facts. We went through all those rounds, and the winner is decided. So the winner is, drumroll please, Indiana Jones. Yes, guys, Indiana Jones is the overall winner of this video. It's not only because Indiana Jones was my childhood hero, but there are so many other factors. I really love the music. I really love the action and thrill sequences, but the truth of the matter is, guys, the character of Indiana Jones and the series itself overall has really shaped the trajectory of my life and had a hugely profound influence on me. When I was a kid, I didn't know how to fight, and I had a lot of enemies, so whenever I would watch the Indiana Jones movies, I would mimic the fight sequences, and I would copy the moves that Indiana Jones would use. And it inspired me to want to learn how to fight and stand up for myself. And now, because of that influence from Indiana Jones as an adult, that's carried me throughout my later life. I trained in martial arts. Guys, I'm a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because I wanted to learn how to fight after watching Indiana Jones. And that healthy spirit of adventure that you see in the movies, that sustained me throughout my entire life.
Ox has got the skull. Marion, take the wheel.
I love being active. I love exploring. I love going on adventures. And I got that curiosity and that spirit of adventure from the Indiana Jones movies.
That's not fair. She drove the truck. Don't be a child. Find something to fight with.
So discovering new things, do new places, traveling, that's from Indiana Jones. And not for naught, guys, because of the Indiana Jones movies, I got into the hobby of whip cracking. And it's true, I'm not the best at it. I'm not an expert or anything, but the fact of the matter is those whip cracking videos that I make on this channel, that made my channel what it is today. All of the success that I have on this channel, I can thank Indiana Jones for that. If it wasn't for the Indiana Jones movies planting the seed of interest in my mind to get into the hobby of whip cracking, my channel probably would not have the success that it has today. And guys, I'm not gonna pretend that I'm a massively successful channel because I'm not, but the fact is I am where I am today, which I am very proud of because of the bullwhip cracking videos. And not for naught, guys, I've said this a million times, but I'm training to become a historian. And even though I always credit my interest in history to the sinking of the Titanic, I do think Indiana Jones can take some form of inspiration for it because I watched the series as a kid and it features archaeology, history, ancient ruins, and awesome epic artifacts from the period of antiquity. And I feel like somewhere in the back of my mind that planted the seed of interest, or it cultivated some sort of curiosity about history, and I gotta give some of that credit to Indiana Jones. So me loving history, me training to become a historian, that is shaping my life, and it had such profound impacts on me. No other character in movie history has had such an influence on me. That might seem ridiculous, it might seem small and trivial to you guys, I understand it, but it means something to me, and that's gotta count for something. So guys, that is why Indiana Jones is the superior brainchild of George Lucas. Overall, I also happen to think Indiana Jones is more fun to watch. Guys, I love Star Wars, don't get me wrong. It's going to stand the test of time, and I know a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me overall, which is fine. A lot of people will say Star Wars is better. It's definitely more iconic, I won't deny that. I have an immense respect for Star Wars, but in the end, I chose Indiana Jones. So guys, that is my verdict. That is Indiana Jones versus Star Wars. Well guys, what did you think of the video? Did you like it? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Well, comment below to let me know. Also guys, do me a massive favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. That will be linked in the description below. Guys, believe it or not, one like can go a long way, and it really helps me out. So right now, hit that like, hit that subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and that's all I have for you guys. And I will see you on the next Unpopular Opinion.
Please inform him that I do not care to drink with him or any other Russian son of a bitch.